So let's talk for just a minute about leadership. This had come up a few weeks ago because someone was talking to me about feeling like they had a hard time captivating their staff's attention. It started us down this really interesting conversation about what it means to be a leader and what it means to be respected by people, what attributes about people gain respect of others, and what attributes about people tend to lose and quickly lose the respect of others. And it was such a fascinating conversation, so I'd love to talk with you guys a little bit about it today. One of the first conversations that I had with a former coworker of mine that really stood out was her telling me about her history as a softball player. She was an incredible softball player in her high school years and then went on to play professionally for a little while. And she was a catcher. And I thought, why that position? And she explained that the catcher is the person who's in control of the game. And I thought, what are you talking about? They're the quiet ones. They're kind of squatting and they're hidden. And what are you talking about? They don't seem to be the ones that are getting a lot of the TV time, the monitor time. And she said, yeah, that's the whole point. While everybody's looking at the pitcher and everybody's looking at the hitter, she's the one calling the shots. And what was really interesting is the position she was in this job was very similar. And she said, that's why I chose this position. I'm not the boss. I'm the right-hand woman to the boss. And so I'm the one that gets to influence all the decisions that are being made. And I get to, kind of be the puppeteer throughout the process without having all the pressure of having to be the bad guy, without all the pressure of having to perform publicly. She gets to kind of be the person with the power behind the scenes. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. And so that was one of my first aha moments about leadership, that just because everyone isn't looking at you doesn't mean you don't hold immense power and influence. Oftentimes you can have a lot of power without gaining what we would consider a lot of attention. We have this myth that leaders have all the answers and they know the right ways of doing things and they must be the best at it. That the general has to be the strongest soldier on the field kind of concept. And this is propagated through television and media, and we're constantly given these messages that you need to be the hero and you need to be the best at something in order for people to respect you. And it's actually the reverse, that people respect you when you respect them first. And ultimately, if I'm able to show my vulnerabilities and my weaknesses and talk about my mistakes, then what it allows other people to do is be imperfect. And when I allow them to be more imperfect, they're also going to be more free to experiment. And the more we experiment and we trial and error and try new things, the more we learn and the stronger we get. The last thing that stood out was what you're aiming for when it comes to being a leader. What are your goals? Are leaders aiming to gain attention and be the boss and to be in charge? Often not. Most people who have been some of the strongest leaders in history were introverts and often didn't like a lot of attention on them. What had happened was they simply could not tolerate things not changing. They needed something to change, and they were passionate about an idea. Many of the statements, and as you guys know, some of the famous statements started with, I believe that this is going to be a better place when. I believe that we have the right to do X. I believe this needs to happen in order to improve everyone's quality of life. And because they believe this so passionately, they were able to get other people who share that belief, who are equally, if not more intelligent and talented than they are. And that is their goal, is to bring those people together. And the ultimate goal is to solve a problem. And that's what leaders are good at, is finding out all those moments where you think, I don't know how to fix this. They hear those things. Leaders are people who constantly hear when problems are arising and they are searching for the solutions to it. They're very good at asking questions, finding out where problems exist and are passionate about solving those problems. And that is kind of the formula. Some of the most powerful leaders aren't necessarily the people who are up front and gaining all the attention and doing all the talking. And also some of the most powerful leaders are the last ones to speak, not the first ones. Because what's very important isn't how much they're speaking, but it's what they have to say. And that's where the power is, that they've taken the time to really listen to all perspectives before they even begin to attempt to draw their own.